Welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Cocktails. As always, my name is Thomas. And yes, we're back. We're back in the book, Booze and Vinyl. As you see, I have all of these tabs of cocktails that I want to make. I want to go through all of this book, but these are the main ones that I want to go and do. So that being said, as the weather is warming up, as we enter the spring and the summer, one of my go-to favorites, it's a margarita. You can't go wrong with a margarita, and there are so many different ways to make it. So, today, we're gonna look at the album Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club and the Beatles. Another 1967 classic paired with a beautiful classic margarita. So some history to the album Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It's a long title. It was the Beatles' 8th studio album, and it was credited to ushering in the era of the LP album format, which is the long play format for albums, for popular music. And not wanting to be treated as just boy band performers, the group decided to record under a fictional alias to jolt their audience and demonstrate artistic ambition. So this result was a full-length record that showed popular music could be every bit of serious as classical and jazz. From beginning to end, it's a romping magnus opus as other musicians followed suit. The LP and the idea that musicians had to record a full album became enduring in the pop platform. Kind of revolutionized pop as a genre as they have their entire career, as the Beatles were such pivotal in music as a whole. And this album was a fantastic representation of what that's like to not only artists of that time, but ushering in the precedence of artists nowadays. We give a lot of credit to bands like the Beatles that set the standard and kind of changed the way music is shaped. And we look at boy bands nowadays or other bands that are not considered boy bands, and you have to point it back to the Beatles. You just have to. So this album was one of those pivotal moments in their career, but also in music as a whole. So let's break out the lawn games, blow up the bouncy castles as spring and summer enter in, as seersucker suits and sundresses ensue. Let's make a margarita. So many home bartenders and cocktail makers will always say, the biggest key to a good cocktail is fresh ingredients. And I think the biggest part of a margarita is fresh lime juice. Do away with that sour mix crap and squeeze your fresh citrus. So you can use many different kinds of tequila, a blanco, a silver, a reposado, an añejo. The world is your oyster in that front. Your classic build for a margarita is 2 ounces of your tequila, 1 ounce of an orange liqueur, whether that's Cointreau, Grand Marnier, Triple Sec. Today we're gonna go over Cointreau, and 1 ounce of freshly squeezed lime juice. You can now salt to the rim, you can do some tajin, you can do some chili powder in there if you want to kind of spice it up with a spicy margarita, maybe some jalapeno slices in there. But today we're gonna keep it simple with a nice pink Himalayan salt rim. Put that all into a rocks glass and garnish it with beautiful citrus. So, without further ado, let's make your classic margarita. So as I said, our build is simple with a 2-1-1 ratio of tequila, orange liqueur, and lime juice. So let's start with our cheapest ingredient first, lime juice. Cut some fresh limes and squeeze that into our cocktail shaker. Now each lime is different. These are really small limes, so you're not gonna get as much juice out of them. If you have larger limes, maybe you can get by with 1 whole lime being 1 ounce. But these limes are pretty small, so I'm probably gonna have to do 1.5, maybe even 2 whole limes to get myself a full ounce. So into our cocktail shaker goes that 1 ounce of lime juice. Then we have 1 ounce of our orange liqueur. Today, we're going the Cointreau. Triple Sec, you're gonna get a bit more sweetness, and Grand Marnier is probably my second go-to. Cointreau is probably my go-to orange liqueur. I just like the balance that it brings to a cocktail. It's not overpowering. And then lastly, we have our tequila. Now, your tequila matters. Get a good tequila Whether you are a Blanco or you are a silver tequila fan, I have been really digging Casamigos. I want to explore kind of really all they have to offer. I think it's really cool when big brands and big names get behind liquor brands. It kind of brings them to the map as long as they keep tradition simple and true to the actual liquor itself. And I really do dig Casamigos. I think they're awesome. 100% pure agave is what you're gonna look for in tequila. If it's anything less than that, don't buy it. Tequila is 100% agave. Reposado tequilas are just aged in oak barrels, and I like having that oakiness in a cocktail. I'm a bourbon guy to begin with, so it's a good little additive to that. So 2 ounces of your chosen tequila. Then we add ice and shake for about 10 to 15 seconds. Dump our mixture in. Create that nice seal as we tap on the top here. You want this angle, so it creates a nice seal. So grab it by the bottom and shake. The other thing I want to mention as we build our cocktail is salting the rim of your glass. It's a nice additive on cocktails like this because you get that saltiness combining with the sweetness of the cocktail. So let's go ahead and salt our rim. So the key here is you want to lay down kind of a base of salts, whether it's on a plate or your work surface like a cutting board. So we're gonna use a pink Himalayan salt. I love the kind of the flavor that this brings, and also has a nice color to the cocktail as well. So just a little bit on a surface, then we're going to take our limes that we squeezed, and I'm just going to line half of the rim. And this is what's gonna bring the adhesion of the salt to the glassware. Just roll this on the salt itself. And this is where you can introduce any other garnishes, i.e. like a tahini or some chili powder to make it kind of like a spicy margarita. That will work really well here also. Now we're gonna add ice to our rocks glass. So I have 2 spheres of fresh ice. And then we're going to strain our cocktail right over the top. And I like to double strain here, just so again, you get kind of that clarity in your cocktail and no unnecessary ice shards or the occasional lime pulp. So here's where you can have some fun. Your classic garnishes, you can do a lime wheel. You can pair the orange liqueur with like an orange slice. But today, since we've used limes, I'm gonna cut a little lime wheel here. Pop that on the side, and also do a pineapple fronds in the side of it. So whenever I get fresh pineapple, I save the top and I keep these little stems, little fronds, to use as garnishes because it's a great little just additive. We're just gonna slide it in the side here. And that to me just brings, I'm here, I'm relaxing. It's either the beach or I'm on just watching the sunset, drinking a nice little cocktail. So here's my take on the classic margarita. Let's try it out. Cheers, everybody. So I get that nice, a nice salt on the rim. Just absolutely beautiful. Pairs really, really well with the cocktail because the cocktail isn't too sweet, but to have that salt to kind of cut it in half is wonderful. One of my favorite drinks of any hot day. So let's put on Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles. Pour ourselves a nice margarita and cheers to warmer weather. Cheers, everybody.